Okay. So in the last class, we had gone through some basic understanding of VMware and containerization. Right. So I hope you had understood the basic difference between a platform, a local VM, and a containerization. Now, in today's class, we will go through some basics of shell scripting. Shell scripting is nothing but an extension of Linux commands. Okay. We had gone through many Linux commands so far, but now we want to go through some basic shell scripting, small programs. It is like a small kind of program. Okay, need not to worry about programs. I will teach you how to learn any programming language very easily. I used to teach this for many students in many classes. Let me repeat the same here also, and I will tell you how to learn any programming language in a very easy manner. So that to learn the basics of any programming language, shell script is also a similar kind of programming language. Need not to worry. So, oh, I have not shared my screen yet. Okay, let me share my screen. So, open your Linux machine. In your Linux machine, just search for edit. You will get text editor. On Ubuntu, you will be having a text editor. So this will give you a new document. Okay. So how to learning a programming language. I will give you a simple technique in any programming language you will be learning. So to understand this, we need to understand some basic things. Paint. For any programming language, you need to compare that with any programming language. You need to compare that with two things. One is let us say this is human language and this is programming language. Programming language. So when you are in your school to start learning a language like English, let us say in our example we are taking English language. So how had you started learning English? Number one, you have started English with learning alphabets. Okay. After learning alphabets, you have started learning words. After learning words, you have started framing sentences. With grammar. Some grammar. How to frame sentences, what is present tense, what is past tense. Okay. So in this way, you have learned any language. Apart from that, you have learned some basic math. How had you learned basic math? You started learning numbers, operations on those numbers, then solving problems. So basic math, you have followed this strategy in learning in your schooling. Okay. Just by adding these things, just by applying these things, you can learn a programming language. Let us try to understand what is the purpose of English language. Why had you learned English language? The purpose of English language, that why you have learned English language is, you have learned this language for communication purpose. You have learned this language for communication purpose. What is communication purpose? To instruct your fellow persons. You have learned this English language just for communicating with others. So to get your work done, so to express your ideas with your friend or maybe with your neighbor, you have started learning the language, and the prime idea in learning a human language is communication. Now, what are all the contrast things that you observe in programming language? The replacement for alphabet is character set. What is meant by character set in any programming language? Capital A to Z, capital A to Z, small a to Z, 0 to 9, and some special symbols. This is nothing but the character set. Character set is nothing but the, what are the special symbols? Special symbols are nothing but maybe addition, minus, multiplication, division, what not. All these things. And sometimes we will be using division, sometimes we will be using hash, we will be using ampersand, we will be using greater than, we will be using lesser than, we will be using is equals to, what not. Putting all these things, etc., are nothing but the special symbols. So all these put together is nothing but the character set of a programming language. After learning the character set, what is the next important thing in any programming language is keywords. In English, we call them as words. In a programming language, we call them as keywords. How many words do you have in English language? A dictionary full. Do you know all the words in English? Do you want to learn all the words in English to communicate with others? Yes or no? Do you want to know all the words? So all words in English do you want to know? So you know all the words in dictionary now. Not required actually, right? So limited words, that what we are going to use in your daily life, if you know the meanings of those words and how to use them, then obviously you can speak, you will be a good communicator in English. Right? So you can start learning, you can start speaking in English by learning very few words. Similar is keywords. So there will be nothing like English like words, but these are limited. Maximum in any programming language, you will be having 50 to 100. If you are good in using at least 50% of them, you can learn any programming language. You will be a master of any programming language. Okay. Next. The third important thing in a programming language is instructions. To frame these instructions, what you need to use here is grammar for these instructions is syntax. Grammar for these instructions is nothing but syntax. So if you use instructions with the proper syntax, your job is done. So learning all these things, putting all these things together, this is nothing but the science part of programming language. This is nothing but the science part of any programming language. So this you can call it as the science of programming language. Why that is science? Science will never change. Science will never change. Okay. If you learn this, the science of programming language is done. So, the science of programming, if you are good in science, the next one is you need to develop skill. You need to develop skill. So, for developing skills, what you need to do? You need to learn problem solving. You need to learn problem solving. What is problem solving? What is problem solving? Problem solving is nothing but your ability to solve those problems, like any given problem. Let us say you are asked to find the distance from place A to place B provided with a measuring tape, from location A to location B provided with a measuring a large type of tape or some other measuring device. If you are given with, yes, use that measuring device and calculate the distance. If you are asked to find, there are three vegetables. Cost of vegetable 1 is 20 rupees. Cost of vegetable 2 is 30 rupees. The total cost that what you have paid is 100 rupees. What is the cost of vegetable C? Total amount you paid is 100. And you have paid, and the cost of vegetable A is 20, B is 30. What is the cost of vegetable C? Obviously 50 rupees. Okay. So to do this, you need not to do anything. It is simple mathematics. But what you have did, your ability to identify stepwise, if you can convert those. Is this visible now? Okay. So, if you are going to solve such kind of problems, if you are going to apply solving such kind of problems, you need to find what are the steps involved in it. What are the steps involved in it? And what you need to do? You need to convert these steps into instructions. You will become a good programmer. You need to convert these steps into instructions, right? And this part is the difficult part, and this part is called as the skill part, and this part is called as the skill part. And this part is called as the skill part. Okay, and let me write this as skill. Right, and this part is nothing but the skill part. So this skill part requires practice, and the science part requires learning. So any student can learn a programming language. In less than 3 days. To learn a program, because it is science, it will never change. Science will never change. Newton's law is not going to change even after 100 years. Yes or no? Science will never change. But skill needs practice. Skill needs practice. If you don't practice, you will never get a skill. If you don't practice, you will never get a skill. That can be any kind of art. You will never get skill. Try to practice it. Try to practice it. Okay. So let me share this in the WhatsApp. So remember this for life. Remember this for life. This part will help you in learning any programming language. This part will help you in to learn any programming language very easily. Okay. Fine. I don't want to save this. Let it be here. Then get back to learning a programming language. How can you start learning a programming language? So, you are not kids. You are already aware of character set and keywords in the programming language. Only thing is you need to concentrate on instructions. Instructions are also called as statements. Instructions are also called as statements. Right? And these statements are broadly classified into three types. These statements are classified into three types. Number one. Statement number one type is sequential statement. Sequential statement. Number two, selection statement. Number three, iteration statement. Okay. So the statements are three types: sequential statements, selection statements, and iteration statements. To form these statements, we need to work with data. To form these statements, we need to work with data. The data can be stored into two things. One is constants, the other one is variables. Something that is not going to change, we call it as constants. Something that is going to change, we call it as variables. For this particular data, it will have type. The data will have type. Yes, this is there in your mathematics also. It is not a new thing that is introduced in any programming language. It is there in your mathematics also. Data is divided broadly into two types. Data will be having some type, and it is divided into two types. Data is divided into two types. One is data is divided into two types. One is basically two types. There are other types of data also. You need not to worry. From now, we are going to treat the data as two types. Let us say numeric. Another one is strings. Characters. Sequence of characters. English like language will forms under Sequence of characters. What is your name? Is a string. Sequence of characters. Anything will falls under this. Two types. Anything will falls under two types. Numeric data and characters data. Numeric data again is classified into two types. Numeric data is again classified into two types. So computer science people may be knowing them because they might have been gone through this, like integers, but these are not new. This is not special to computers. These are something that what you have studied in your school. Real numbers, integers and real numbers. So integers, numbers that are formed without decimal. So integers does not have any decimal. What is an integer? No decimal is integer. No decimal is nothing but integer. Something that what we have decimals with decimal. Decimal means nothing but a period. Decimal is nothing but a point. 2.3. 2 is integer, 2.3 is a real number. For representing integers, language supports something like int, byte, short, long. We have to tell which type of data it is. Int means integer data, byte is integer data, short is integer data, long is integer. But it tells how much data it can store. Because computer is limited. Computer cannot store infinite data. Computer itself is limited. Computer cannot store infinite data. So computer itself is a limited device. It can store minimum to maximum amount of data. It cannot store more than that. So for that thing, we are going to represent them with different sizes. Those sizes are represented like int, byte, short, long. And for decimal, usually you will be having float, double. That's it. And for text, you will be having characters. Char. Usually we call the data type for text is char. In few languages, we call it a string. That's it. If you understand this particular thing, so instructions and data. Instructions are three types, and in those instructions we will use data. So this is more than enough. If you understand this, you can learn any programming language. Okay. In any programming language, you will be having. It is not some shell scripting, C language, Java, Python, whatever it is. It has to follow this. It has to follow this. Right? Any doubts up to now? Any doubts? All good? Is it understandable? Teja? So had you understood what I am talking about? So this is how you will be learning any programming language. Clear? Okay. All good. Now, let us now enter into shell scripting. How you can learn shell scripting by applying this technique. I will share you a small shell scripting book. This you can use for future reference in shell scripting. A small material. This you can use for future reference. Okay. Now, get back to the Linux machine. Shell script you need not to install. Linux automatically supports shell script. So is my Linux screen visible to all of you? Okay. This we don't want. Close this. Discard. Click here and open terminal. And open terminal. Okay. Yeah. Now we want to write a shell script program. For that, I am making a directory. To create a directory, my shell programs. I am creating a directory. My shell programs. So directory is created. Now you can see there is my shell programs. Move on to the directory. So there is nothing in this directory. Now we want to create files in this directory. How to create files in this directory? So you can say edit. I think gedit will be there. Gedit. prg1.sh is the extension of any shell program. sh. We can install it very simply. So sudo apt install gedit. This you can install. This you can just say sudo apt install, copy, paste it here, copy, paste. It will ask for password. Just give the password. Password may not be visible, but it will install in 1 second. Gedit is a notepad kind of editor that will be very useful in Linux machines to work with programming languages. So now gedit prg1.sh, program1.sh. So now you can see we are able to open a notepad kind of thing. Okay. So here we are going to write a small program that is a sequential program. What is meant by a sequential program? Sequential program is nothing but which is being executed one after the other, one statement after the other statement, one statement after the other statement. So now what here we are going to do is we are going to write a small program echo hello world. Echo hello world. Echo we are learning shell script. Shell script. Then echo practice makes many man perfect. It is not man, it is woman also. Practice makes anyone perfect. So now save this. Control S will save it. And you can close this gedit. And then you can see here ls. So now ls-l. You can see, Linux commands. you have observed that this program is not allowed to execute. There is no execute permissions for this. How to add execute permissions for a program? So to add execute permissions, to add or change permissions, we have change mod plus X for execute. To which one? prg1.sh. Now you can see ls-l. You can see program.sh is executable, and now the file is also converted to green. File is also converted to green. Earlier it is white. Now it is green. Means that program is executable. That is executable. So now you need to give execute permissions. After that, you can simply say /prg.sh. So here you can see your program is executed. One statement after the other. One statement after the other, your program is executed. One after the other, one after the other, the program is executed. Right? So what is the first statement? Hello world. It is executed in the same order. That is the beauty. Let us go to gedit. Gedit program1.sh. Here you can see the output as well as the program. The output after the program. So echo hello world is the first statement. Output is first statement. We are learning shell script. We are learning shell script. Practice makes man perfect. So three statements you can see. They are printed. They are executed in the same order. They are executed in the same order. There is no change in the order of execution. The statements are executed one after the other. The statements are executed one after the other. Okay. Clear? This is a simple example of writing a sequential shell script. Sequential shell script. Right? Any doubts? This is a simple thing. No doubts. Okay. Now, let us go for writing a second program. So here what I will do is, I want to I will be taking two values. I will be taking any two values. Say A is equals to 5, B is equals to 10, C is equals to A plus B, echo $C. If you want to print the content of a particular variable, you have to use dollar. Control S. Save this, or else you can use this option for saving. Close this. So again, if you go to ls, you can see that is not in an executable mode. So program is not in an executable mode. So to give this, you have to say change mod chmod plus x, and then you have to say prg2.sh. And now you can see that is also executable /prg2.sh. Here you can see it is added. But what is added? Variables are added, not the values. Not the values. So to add the values, what you need to do? Go to gedit. So variables are concatenated. Simply variables are concatenated here. So we want to add the contents of A with the contents of B. Contents of A with contents of B. Save this. Save this. Okay. Then what you can do is close this. Again. Now you can see plus is here for concatenation. It is just concatenation. It is not doing addition. It is not doing addition. Leave it. How to do arithmetic operations in shell script we will see later. But here our idea is we are performing steps one after the other. We want to know that we are performing steps one after the other. Okay. So that is the first thing. Okay. Now, I want to combine a set of Linux commands. I want to combine a set of Linux commands. So now I will write a group of Linux commands one after the other in the program. Then we will see how they are executed. So edit prg3. So it is not like a C program. In C language you will be seeing a plus b, you will be simply getting it as, because C is a generic purpose language, so that you can do very simply. But Linux shell scripting is different. Okay, Linux commands.sh. So now I want to add few Linux commands here. So now I want to add few Linux commands here. So how to add few Linux commands here? Here, what is the important thing here is, you can add clear. What clear will do? Clear will remove the old content from the shell script, from the terminal. Okay. First step, clear. And then echo today is here I want date. Echo today is date. Echo my username. How to get username? Who am I? How to get who am I? This will give you username. Then echo this year calendar. This year calendar. How to get that? CAL. Here if it is CAL. Cal. I think calendar you have to get it is cal. Cal should work actually. If not, let us check whether cal is working or not, because we are not getting it as a keyword. Let us see. Now let us save this. Or else if it is not working, we can find the alternate command for calendar later on in Ubuntu. Now ls Linux commands, change mode plus x, Linux commands plus x, not C, plus x. So dot slash Linux commands. So here you can see, today is Friday, date is displayed, date and time is displayed. Username Adi is the name of the user. This year calendar, but cal is not working. Let us check what is the alternate for cal in Linux, in Ubuntu. Let us say help. Here itself you can ask. You need not to go to internet. Help cal.
Hello?
Yeah, tell me.
That
That is my username. So let me to show you that one. This is here, right? Home. We have my shell programs, Linux commands, open with text editor. Right click and say open with text editor. It will be opening here. Now you can see it is cleared. First step, it cleared the terminal. Today is date. It displayed the date. Echo my username. Who am I? Who am I is user. Okay, username Adi. This year calendar, but cal is not working. I am searching the calendar. What is the alternate for calendar in Ubuntu? alternate for CAL in Ubuntu. No. The installations and other things are not required. I think we need to update and we need to do that. So calendar is not working here. Let us say sudo update. App update. So, app update. CAL is not working. CAL is not working. CAL is the alternate that what is not working. Here you can see. CAL is not working. You can take another terminal. If you say CAL, it says CAL is not found. You can install it, I think. NCAL. CAL itself is not working. It will not take the options. Yeah. CAL bar means slash. That will not work. This will display the calendar. NCAL. So help. They have an alternate command. That is what they have used. Help NCAL. Something like new calendar they have used. Paste. Yeah. So it displays the calendar and the date of Easter. So if you want to know NCAL 2024, so it will display the entire calendar. So the calendar command. So now you can simply say NCAL here. NCAL 2024. Okay. Save this. Then for no, you cannot display a week. So you want to display which week, which month. Current month you will be getting from NCAL. Current month you will be getting from NCAL. Okay. Current month you will be getting like this. If you want to get the previous month, I think NCAL 07. No, this look like that. 7 I think. NCAL -7. Yeah, this is the options. Usage now cal will work. Yeah, cal is also working now. So NCAL we need to install, then cal will also work. So you can also go with general options like month, year. So you can specify calendar Feb, not valid. So 02, calendar 02, calendar hyphen 2. How to specify the month? There are options.
Month, and you will give
Month, how should you give? January hyphen M.
now you will give March or anything.
Okay, fine. Like that you can use cal options. Okay, here this option you can use. So this is the option that what you want to use, hyphen month. So this is the option for using calendar, general options, hyphen j, hyphen month, year. Like that you can specify. I think 03 should also work for month. Yeah, 03 12 current month. So 2020, 2020. So it is December 2020. This is December 2020, this is 2024. So like that you can use a number also. Instead of typing the entire English word, you can use number also. Okay. So this is how you can use simple what I call it as shell scripting programs. Okay. So practice these three programs on your Linux machines, and in tomorrow's class we will go through a few advanced shell scripting concepts. I will be taking 3 classes for this shell scripting, maybe tomorrow and the next classes. Then we can actually go into Docker, because Docker needs a lot of Linux commands, only Linux commands, but you need to combine them to understand that we are going through these Linux commands. Okay, don't worry that it is something like programming. No, it is not programming. It is Linux commands. A DevOps engineer should learn Linux commands. Okay, fine. Any doubts? Any doubts? Come again? Yeah, thank you. So Teja, please practice these small programs, and from tomorrow onwards you will be getting more programs. Especially Teja. Yeah, yeah. All good. So thank you all. Good night.